we'll have to have a quick word with the scaffolders over there.
Cool.
Yeah, we've got original wattle door here, which is lovely. It's lovely to see.
Is that with horsehair and everything?
Well, wattle and daub is a clay and straw mixture. There'd be a little bit of later horsehair and lime plaster on top.
Yeah.
But this is early, very early.
Amazing to survive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
Incredible. God, you poor sod.
Look what they've done to the place. Bits of plaster.
I know. Bags of shit all up. So, even my lord.
Good morning. This is Peter, my number 2.
Well, you're number 2. Yep. I'll take a shot at the man himself. There you go.
Not guilty.
No, not guilty, my lord. That's it on Crime Watch. Right.
Some good news.
Uh-oh.
Next week.
Oh, well done. Brilliant. Yeah, we'll get that support down now.
Amazing.
Note the stunning plastic pipe up there.
That's beautifully done, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it just?
Internal
Fantastic.
guttering work, sort of hidden.
Well, yeah, there's this lead's gutter down here.
Oh, has that been on the outside then or something? Well, they try to hide it, did they?
I think in the 1730s, 1750s, it suddenly became fashionable to not see.
And then it became more
beams.
fashionable the outside.
Yeah, cover it all up and make it smooth. So that's.
They did a lot of lime render then, didn't they?
Yes, lime. It's like a sort of horsehair plaster.
Is this your...
And this is. These are quite early because they're because of the size of them.
Yeah.
I call them 2-inch Tudors. So
London brick, yeah.
Yeah, 1485 to 1503.
Yeah. Do you know the reason they stopped using brick between 1499 and 1503?
No.
It was because of the plague. Killed all the young people who knew how to build a brick, and they were left with only carpenters who knew how to build a wood and not stone. So if you look at the Sun Hotel built in 1503, it's built of wood and then faced with stone only afterwards. So it would have been basically a wood frame, and they filled with stone to make it look more attractive, more modern. Interesting thought. Yeah. That's beautiful, isn't it?
It could be, but it's just been left to fall into disrepair with.
How is that possible, though? Is it not some sort of protection order on it? I think it's a listed building. It must be.
Of course, it's listed. Yeah. But,
Isn't there some sort of order that says you have to keep buildings intact? That roof is beautiful, isn't it?
Funny you should say that. Yeah.
There's the impression a lot of people get, but they're not true. Yeah. Sorry, my lord.
Yep, you've got the pegs in as well.
Stand to one side.
That was it.
This is what we've been replacing, the oak plate with
front.
English
That is.
air-dried oak.
All right.
It's been in a...
So beautifully cut in there. I can see that.
Well, thanks, yeah. It's been an
Sorry,
absolute...
shouldn't say that. You never get out. Your head will explode. Oh. But they're beautiful bits of work, aren't they?
Great.
So beautiful, aren't they?
Excellent. And what we're doing is because the ends of these rafters have decayed to such an extent they're actually soft.
Yeah.
We're trying to beef them up with these 5x3 steel.
Blocks.
Yeah, steel
That will
plates.
support the outside of the building and stop it dropping.
Well, yeah, because you've got so much weight on
Yeah,
this.
The front edge.
Yeah, exactly.
That's mostly what happened at the King's School shop. It's just dropped, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this has actually dropped about 10-12 mil, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's dropped quite a bit.
Oh, nice. Well, not when you're on it.
Well, I know.
Everything's wrenching down. Well, is that the front of the shop there? That?
Well, we're cantilevered out twice, aren't we?
Yeah.
So the front of the shop will be round about probably...
So what's that
where
beam
I'm
there that
standing.
runs underneath those tie beams?
That's the plate for downstairs, and then it goes back in again and down.
Oh.
So it's jetted. This is the final jetty, isn't it, I think?
Yeah.
There's no more jetties.
No.
Yeah, this is the last
But
one.
isn't there are exposed beams at the front there, aren't there, or are they not there anymore?
Well, they were covered up with a soffit,
Oh, right.
which is, again, decayed. So,
Horrible thought.
yeah, yeah.
And there's nothing more up there, is there? Or is it,
There's a fascinating
There's
door
a lovely
up
old
there.
door up there.
Oh,
what
it
about the
must
lantern
be
tower? Can you access it from
You
here?
can access the lantern tower, actually, yeah.
Trying to be nosy on this. Floorboards are nice and bouncy, aren't they? Did you have to restore this as well before you came in?
Say again?
Have you seen the writing that's on the beam?
The old
In
shop
the
onto you?
lantern tower?
No, about the various trades that have
Oh,
come in.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, really?
Bag of chips and petrol prices and all
Yeah.
that business.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There's often. What about shoes? You haven't found any medieval shoes in the building? I say that because they always used to leave a marking shoe to ward off evil spirit.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I recently been to Scotney Castle, and they found there when they were doing the restorations, they found. This is the lantern tower, is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
plasterwork, wattle and daub that's been faced up with.
So this is a Pilgrims Inn, isn't it? Definitely. Can I walk across here? Is it safe?
Yeah, I think it's fairly safe.
Oh, thanks for saying that. It's just a loose board there in the middle. So the birds have obviously ingressed here because you can see all the bird shit.
Yeah.
God. Oh. Well, it's obviously been reflashed, isn't it? At some point, this dormer's been reflashed.
Yes.
So somebody must have been up here at some point to rebuild it.
Yeah, it's had a bit of attention, but the roof is quite parlous, unfortunately.
Is that loose, that one up there? Seems to be. Oh, it's just been lashed up, isn't it? Cool. Yes. You imagine living up here, though. At your only fireplace. God, what a miserable cold place it must have been. It just seems quite warm here, doesn't it?
It doesn't
just the heat of the light,
bad, does it?
Real hodgepodge of roofs, aren't they? Because I seem to recall from reading old architecture books that the reason the roof spans were so narrow is because they couldn't build a wide span. So when you see these double timbered roofs, you know, the narrow ones, like 3 abreast, you can tell the age of the house is before about 1760, when they developed the concept of being of the wide spans. Because now, of course, you can buy a roof span pre-made, can't you?
Yeah, and you
Slot
can
it
get
in,
steels
ready to pitch it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So it looks Victorian, that sash window, doesn't it? So
yes, that's.
So when it was a hotel in those days, I wonder what the roof's like in the old Canterbury Bank. It's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah, it does make you think.
Well, built in 1788, it'd be quite an old property, wouldn't it?
I thought that was later, actually. I thought that was.
Well, if you look at the inscription up there, here, 1788.
There is, isn't there?
See 1788 on there.
1788.
Yeah. Because the reason that the Christchurch Gate was restored in 1932 by Vita Sackville West for her husband Christopher was because the original timbers, or the top section of the gate, was removed in 1788 by the Canterbury Bank, so they get full view from the lantern tower at the top over there of the Canterbury clock on the west transept.
Oh, right.
So they said, well, if you can't see the clock, we're not going to do your banking. Yeah. And the only bank in the city was the Canterbury Bank. So the cathedral said, OK, we'll put it in storage for you.
Yeah.
And it was held in storage until 1932. That's why there's a little triangle of Vita Sackville West crest on the West Tower. Strange, isn't it? Yeah. I'm sure he'd preferred a pair of slippers, though.
How he put up with her, God knows.
God knows, she's a mad old bird. Look at that plaster work. Oh, it looks pretty dodgy, this old staircase, doesn't it?
Well, it's... Yeah, it does actually, doesn't it, now you mention it?
And there are holes in the side there. Strange, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Beautiful. Whoa.
I was last in here about 20 years ago, and I'm fairly sure that it's rotated since then.
It's twisted, isn't it?
It has, yeah. I'm fairly sure it wasn't like this when I was last in here. It's definitely twisted.
God. Amazing. Oh, you're on call.
It's very poor reception around here, actually. And, I tend to pick
That's
it up.
more sort of hair and plasterwork up there, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. And again, it's...
What would they use this for, then? It makes sense.
Well,
just been a place to sit and have a fag,
the
would
seat there is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe a reading...
Reading room?
Yeah.
Well, it's light, I suppose, isn't it? It would have been terribly dark in there otherwise.
Yeah.
Interesting dormer window they've stuck in there, isn't there?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a spectacular flat in there, and it's just empty.
It's a lovely view of the cathedral.
Yes, isn't it? Unparalleled.
Lovely view over the top of the roofs.
Yeah.
In Mercery Lane, you can really see the shape of the checker from here as well. Beautiful. Those timbers must have rotted to hell, though. Yeah. God. That's fascinating. Thanks so much for letting me come up.
Not at all. I know that you're a historian yourself. And,
a mad person, I am.
It's one of those sort of things of Canterbury, really, that one just has to see.
Yeah, I'm very honoured to be taken up Bell Harry Tower before they closed it. Because they closed it after an American had a heart attack on the way up because it's so bloody tall. Yeah. But that's what I found about the Campanile. I was taken by Canon Ingram Hill. You ever heard of him?
Yes.
Mad old Canon. He was a very friendly chap.
Yeah.
Always too pleased to help people out.